Lord Huron once said, "I want to live in a land of lakes, where the great waves break and the nights turn to day." The state of Michigan has many great attractions that make it a great place to visit, and I will be explaining 3 of those today. First, I will talk about some of nature's beauty that is well visited in the summer months of Michigan. Next, I'll talk about some of Michigan's greatest festivals. Lastly, I'll tell you about Michigan's most visited and populated cities. First, I'll talk about Sleeping Bear Dunes. This one is my all-time favorite. My grandparents had a place about 5 miles from there, so I grew up visiting there often. It's right in Glen Arbor, Michigan, which Good Morning America ranked as the most beautiful place in America in 2010. The legend of Sleeping Bear Dunes is that there were a mother bear and 2 cubs that were walking on the shores of Lake Michigan one day when they got swept up to sea, and the mother became Sleeping Bear Dunes, while her 2 cubs became the Manitou Islands. This place is awesome, and you can climb it and see the Glen Lakes on one side and then Lake Michigan on the other. Next, I'll explain Tequamanon Falls. It's a state park located in Paradise, Michigan, because when you look at it, it is a paradise. It's a waterfall. It's one of the few waterfalls in Michigan, since it is located so far up north, it's a common camping destination for many families during the summer months in Michigan. Next up is Pictured Rocks. This is in Musing, Michigan, also in the UP, just not as far as Tequamanon Falls. It's a common place to go kayaking and camping again, and you can kayak through the rocks and see all the beautiful pictured rocks. Next, I'll explain the festivals. The Cherry Festival is one of Michigan's biggest festivals, and it's located in Traverse City. Almost 500,000 people come every year, and it is usually the first 2 weeks in July. This one is one of my favorites as well, because we're always up there for the 4th of July, and my uncle this year happens to be the president. They bring in $2.5 million in revenue each year, according to Odyssey.com. Now, one of my favorite festivals, also probably some of yours because it's so local, is the Alma Highland Festival. This goes back to our Scottish heritage, along with Alma colleges. This is every Memorial Day weekend, and it includes lots of parades, bagpipes, a 5K, a Queen of Scots, Scottish games, and even an art fair. Another festival is the Tulip Time Festival in Holland. It is each year in May and brings in 50 to 70,000 people every year to see beautiful tulips, and they even have a tulip island. Next up are the cities. Grand Rapids is one of Michigan's most growing cities. It is home of Art Prize, which is a 19-day art fair right in the middle of Grand Rapids, and it takes place each year in the fall. Grand Rapids is also home to Gerald Ford, Frederick Meyer, and the DeVos family. It is home to 445,000 other residents, and is Michigan's fastest growing city, although it's not the biggest. That goes to Detroit, which has approximately 672,795,000 residents, according to World Population Review. It has 4 professional sports teams known as the Tigers, the Lions, the Pistons, and the Red Wings. And it was the start of the auto industry. Thank you for listening to my speech. First, I described Sleeping Bear Dunes, Pictured Rocks, and Tequamanon Falls. Next, I explained the Cherry Festival, the Highland Festival, and the Tulip Time Festival. Next, I explained Detroit and Grand Rapids. I hope that after hearing this speech, you love Michigan as much as I do and Lord Huron. Thank you.